Yo, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the After the Whistle podcast. I am your host, Owen Tomko, and today we'll be doing my full playoff prediction video. I know you would have expected this video to come out before my wild card prediction video, but I completely forgot. And yes, there is a game going on right now. It is the Colts and the Bills, but it's not even at halftime yet, so it's too early to call that game. So I don't necessarily need to do predict that game because I already did. So I already have my predictions. If you don't know what my wildcard predictions are, go back over to the other video, the wildcard prediction video. Watch that so you get the idea of who I have going, moving on, and why is the main reason. So with that being said, I guess we'll just jump right in. We'll jump right into the AFC divisional round. Where you'll have the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the lowest remaining seed in the playoffs on the AFC side, and that lowest remaining seed is going to be the Tennessee Titans. I do see Tennessee winning against Baltimore today, and the reason for that's in the other video. I just think they got too good of a running game. So that being said, the Titans will be taking on the Chiefs in Arrowhead, or in Kansas City, which is Arrowhead Stadium, of course. So leaving the Bills and Steelers to rematch as part of the AFC divisional game. Those are going to be two really good matchups between both the Titans and the Chiefs, and the Bills and the Steelers. Tennessee was the hot team in the playoffs last year. They beat the Patriots, which nobody thought they would have, and then they beat the Ravens, which nobody thought they would have. They didn't. They did follow the Kansas City Chiefs last year, so it'll be a good rematch for last year's playoff matchup. And as for Bills Steelers, I mean, they played earlier this year, and the Bills did come out on top. The Steelers offense really didn't look good at all. Just really couldn't get anything going. They played pretty good defense. I think they only lost by 4 or something. No, they lost by a lot more. They lost by like 14 or something like that. But yeah, it was a disappointing loss for them. With that being said, I do see a rematch coming. And I think it's going to be I keep trying to bet with the Steelers here, and I've been wrong, 3 out of the last 4 weeks. I mean, other than their, I think I can't even remember now. I know they lost 3 straight to go to 11-3. Then they won 1 to go to 12-3. Then they lost 1 to go to their one win was to Indianapolis. Sorry. And I bet the Steelers to beat the Bills. I bet the Steelers to beat the Bengals. I bet the Steelers to beat the Colts, actually. But I did bet I think I bet the Steelers to beat the Browns week 17 as well. So I've been wrong on the last 4 weeks betting with the Steelers here. So with that being said, I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills. Once again, I do see Buffalo moving on, beating Indianapolis, even though it is a very, very good game. So the Bills will be taking on the Steelers in Buffalo. Again, they've already played in Buffalo once this year, and they're going to play it again. I think that's going to be a really good game. Once again, Josh Allen, I mean, he was an MVP guy at the beginning of the year. He's an MVP guy midway through the year, but it just wasn't enough. I think Rodgers was good enough to win, and yeah. So that being said, I got to pick a winner here for Bills. For Bills Steelers, and with that being said, I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to move on. I do think Buffalo has that explosive offense that Pittsburgh does not. I think Pittsburgh does have a very good offense when healthy and when working properly, but I just don't see them. They haven't been able to run the football, and really they've been mediocre as of late. And I think Buffalo's, I said in my last video, is the hottest team in the NFL this year. So I just think they keep it going. Win today and then go on and beat the Steelers in the divisional game. That means they would be going on to the conference championship game against. I'm gonna pick solely because of how good they've been playing lately and how bad the other team's been playing lately. And I'm going to pick the Tennessee Titans, actually, to win here. I know that comes as a shock to everybody because Kansas City is the best team in the league by far. I mean, they went 14-2. Should have gone 15-1 if they played all their starters. They would have beat the Chargers almost definitely. But I just don't see the Kansas City Chiefs being able to stop Derrick Henry. And then once they try and stop Derrick Henry, then Tannehill's going to turn it on and throw for like 350 yards and 4 touchdowns against this pretty decent Kansas City Chiefs defense. Really have problems in the secondary and at linebacker, getting up there in age. I mean, their best defensive player is Tyrann Mathieu by far. I mean, you could argue for Chris Jones, but I don't see that. I just see Tyrann Mathieu being the best player. I mean, he made first team All-Pro, I think, this year. So congrats to him. But that is my upset pick. I am picking the Tennessee Titans, actually, to win against the Kansas City Chiefs. Like I said, I just think they'll be able to run the ball, and then when Kansas City tries to stop, when they try and stop Derrick Henry, Tannehill's going to go off. On the flip side of that, Tennessee's going to have to play some pretty good defense to stop this Kansas City Chiefs offense, which I think has been struggling as of late. Once again, they really don't use their running backs much, and I think that's going to be a big part in this game for Kansas City. I think they're going to have to find a way to run this ball on this beat-up, not very good Tennessee Titans front seven, because I just think I know nobody can hang. Nobody can hang with Tyreek Hill, and it's a mismatch if you put anybody on Travis Kelce. But I don't know. They didn't look good against Atlanta 2 weeks ago, and Atlanta is not a very good defense. They've allowed the most passing yards to opposing quarterbacks in the league this year, and they beat them, and Atlanta lost by 3, 17-14. So if Tennessee and Kansas City hasn't played in 2 weeks, so they haven't played all their starters. They didn't play Week 17. They're not going to play this weekend. They're going to be playing in from 3 weeks on rest. I just think Tennessee stays hot. Wins against the Ravens, and then goes on and beats the Buffalo Bills, or not beats the Buffalo Bills, beats the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional game. On to the NFC side of the ball. Actually, the NFC side of the bracket. You have the Packers playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then you have the Saints playing the Seahawks, which I think everybody sees happening, Saints-Seahawks, and everybody sees Saints-Packers happening. Saints are going to beat the Bears. As I said in my last video, go ahead and go over and watch that one. It should be linked down in the description if I remember. I'm kind of a forgetful person like that, but I'll try and remember to link that video down below so you can go see and go watch all through the predictions and stuff like that and why I picked these teams to win. That's why this is going to kind of be a shorter video, because I'm just going through and saying who's going to win from the divisional game onto the conference game. So you have the Packers at the Bucks. They did already play this year. I don't remember the outcome. I'm pretty sure it was the Buccaneers absolutely dominating them. Yeah, they dominated them 38-10. In their first meeting, Tampa Bay scored 28 in the second quarter to go up 28-10 at halftime. Then they shut Green Bay down since that game. I think the one team that could beat the Packers is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know how well their defense is going to play now that I think Green Bay is just arguably the hottest NFC team in the league this year, or at the moment. I think Tampa is coming off I did call them at the beginning of the year. I said they're going to be the greatest 8-8 team ever, but they ended up winning 10-5, or whatever, 11-5 or whatever they went. But I don't see them winning. I don't see Tampa Bay winning. I'm going to go Green Bay here. I just think Green Bay's offense is too explosive. It's going to be whether or not they are able to beat the whether or not they're going to be able to beat the Tampa Bay defense. Tampa Bay's defense is really, really good this year. They got a good front seven. They got a good linebackers. They don't really have the best secondary, though. They got a young rookie in Antoine Winfield starting at safety for them, and their corners aren't necessarily the greatest things on the planet. So I think Davante Adams is going to have a field day. I think Aaron Jones, if he's going to play, I think he's going to play very well. I just think, even though Tampa Bay is they are the best run defense in the league this year. I think only they're in front of the Colts. I think is the only team that's close to them in that department is in run defense. So I think it's going to be. I think Aaron Jones is going to have a pretty decent day, because if that happens, then they're going to win the game for sure. But it's all going to come down to the Tampa Bay offense. If they can score on this mediocre at best Green Bay Packers defense, who's played really, really well as of late. I'm not downing them at all. They played really, really good as of late. But they're not the greatest thing on the planet either. I mean, it's just going to be it's going to be a shootout. So once I get into the prediction videos for the conference or for the divisionals next week, when I go through the spreads, the over-unders, and my reasons, I'll pretty much be playing off this with the spreads and the over-unders, but I don't have those yet. So once again, I'm going to take the Packers to win over the Bucs, advancing them to the conference championship game. And then the other game that people see is the number 2 seed New Orleans Saints taking on the number 3 seed Seattle Seahawks. Seattle's got a win today against the Rams, which I already said, and the Saints are going to win against the Bears, which I already said. With that being said, they are going to face off in the divisional round. I think this is going to be a really, really good game. I know I'm wearing all Seattle Seahawks stuff today, and I know this might sound like a biased statement, but I think Seattle has the capability to win this game. I think the New Orleans Saints offense really hasn't been the type of New Orleans Saints offense we're used to seeing when Drew Brees is healthy, one, and he's not 41 years old. I think they just really don't have the ability to push the ball down the field. Drew Brees' arm strength's really regressed from last year to this year, and it's just kept regressing since his age 37 season, I think. So in the last 4 years, his arm strength's really gone downhill. With that being said, they do have one of the best running backs in the league in Alvin Kamara, which I don't think he's the best. I think Derrick Henry's the best, but that's my personal opinion. I think Kamara's a phenomenal running back, great receiver. He actually leads that team in receiving yards as well, I believe. So he's a dual threat guy. But I do see Seattle winning this game. As weird as it sounds, I do think our defense has played very, very well as of late, and I just think we keep it up. Our offense really has got to step up in this game, though, because we're going to have to put points on the board. Our defense can't hold a Drew Brees-led offense to under 24 points. Then, yeah. But I do see Seattle's offense starting to click here when it gets into the postseason. I think we saw what they're capable of. We saw what they're capable of in the regular season when they let Russ cook, as people like to say. Let him loose, let him be himself, and he was an MVP. He was an MVP guy for the first 7 weeks of the year, and then after our bye week, the script flipped like that. Then our offense started to become mediocre, and our defense went from the worst passing defense in the league to one of the best. Actually, not one of the best, but a solid defense, which I think since the back half of the year, the defense has been carrying this team to their victories, even though it's not necessarily our strong suit. Our offense is our strong suit, but we kind of put offense on the back burner to better our defense, and our defense really has stepped up. As people like to say, defense wins championships, offense wins games. So if we got to have a good balance of both, and I think the Saints have a really good offense. I think they really can score on this Seattle Seahawks defense, but it's just whether or not they have some big explosive plays. I don't think they win without any big chunk explosive plays. I think the big thing for Seattle's defense is going to stop the run. You got to find a way to stop Kamara, and if you can do that, I do think we come out on top. With that being said, if we can't, it's going to be a long game for us, and our offense is really going to have to play catch up from this Drew Brees-led offense, which I think is, and when healthy, when healthy and when clicking, I think that offenses could be one of the best offenses in the league. Both teams, actually. When their offenses are clicking, they could be one of the best offenses in the league. But as of late, we really haven't seen that from both teams, and the Saints defense is getting older. I mean, you have Cam Jordan, who's going to cause havoc on our young defensive line, but I think that's where Russ excels at. I think he excels under pressure and outside of the pocket. So that being said, I do see Seattle winning this game and moving on to take on the Green Bay Packers in the conference. In the conference championship game. So we have two really, really interesting matchups. On the AFC side of the ball, you have the Bills and the Titans. You would think the Chiefs would be in there, but I think the Titans do end up winning that game, like I've already said. And you have the Packers and Seahawks, a classic playoff matchup, which we always seem to play the Packers in the playoffs, and we always seem to lose. So it'll be an interesting game. As for the Bills and the Titans, once again, I've already said Bills have an explosive offense. So does Tennessee. But I think Green Bay when Green Bay played Tennessee in week 14, I think it was, we really got to see what you can do to a Tennessee Titans offense if they can't run the football. If Tennessee can't run the football, they're not going to win the game. They really aren't. I think they're so they're not really one-dimensional in the sense that if they don't run the ball, they're not going to win the game, but they rely so much on the run to set up all these big play-action passes to A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, and guys like that. But if they can't run the football, they're really like the Rams. They run play-action, they run misdirection, but without that run, without the knowingness that they're going to run the football, they're really just a play action, bring blitzes, and get Tannehill uncomfortable. So I think if the Bills can do that, they're going to win the game with how explosive their offense is. But I think Tennessee's offense is very, very good itself. I think Tannehill has been very... I don't want to say underrated because he really hasn't been. I mean, we all know what he's done this year and what he's done for this team. But I want to say underappreciated. I think he's really, we're all noticing that Derrick Henry's rushed for 2,000 yards and that he's been the one carrying that offense, and he has been. But they couldn't have won some of the games that they did without the help of Ryan Tannehill in that offense. So I think it's going to come down to the Bills. If they can stop the run, this game's over. And I think the Bills would win the game. I think they have, once again, the most explosive offense. Arguably in the league at this time. Out of the 4 teams remaining, I think they do. But with that being said, Tennessee, they're going to have to play some really, really good pass defense. And the Bills don't run the football. They're not known for the run here. So I think it's a very, very even matchup for these two teams. But I will give the slight edge to the hotter team, and that is the Buffalo Bills, who would be winning and advancing to the Super Bowl for the first time in a while. I just think I think it's gonna be such a close game that the hotter team's gonna come out on top, and I think that's, even though the Titans did beat the Chiefs, I think they're gonna come off an emotional high and play with some fire and know that we can beat any team in the league this year. I do see Buffalo winning because of how explosive they are and how they're going to be able to throw the football against this pretty decent Tennessee Titans pass defense, but not necessarily phenomenal pass defense. And on to the NFC side of the ball, we have the number 1 seed Green Bay Packers against the number 3 seed Seattle Seahawks. Seattle, keys to that game: stop the pass. If you can't stop the pass here, you're not going to win this game. I said this in my Tennessee when the Titans played the Packers. I said if the Titans can't run the ball, they're not going to win the game. And if the Packers can't throw the ball, they're not going to win the game. But if you let the Packers throw the ball, they're going to win the game by a lot. And I think the Seattle Seahawks secondary has played better as of late. And I think we're built to stop the pass more than we're built to stop the run, even though we have one of the better run defenses and one of the worst pass defenses. I think we are built to stop the pass. Do I think it's going to be enough against the Packers? Maybe. I do think Seattle has the capability of beating the Packers again this year. Or not again this year, but beat the Packers this year. Because I think their Packers defense isn't going to be able to stop Russell Wilson once he gets in a rhythm after beating the Saints. I want to pick the Seahawks here to win, but the smart thing here is to pick the Packers to win because of how hot they've been. And I don't necessarily know if they are the best team in the NFC this year. Yes, they are in the number 1 seed. Yes, they have one of the most explosive pass offenses in the league this year. But their defense really hasn't been particularly good. They played some really close games that they really shouldn't have, and they've lost some games that they shouldn't have, I don't think. I think Seattle is going to play with such a high after beating the Saints, but I think the Packers are going to play with a high after beating the Bucs after losing to them by 28 the first meeting. I think it's, once again, a very, very close matchup. But, I mean, you can't bet against Aaron Rodgers and the MVP this year. But, once again, you can't bet against Russell Wilson because of what he's capable of. I think this is a dead even matchup. And it's hard for me to pick here. Because if I pick the Seahawks, I'm going to sound biased after what I've just said. But if I pick the Packers, I don't know if that's the right pick. I don't know. This is probably the hardest decision I'm going to make other than the Super Bowl. Because I just don't know. I don't know who's going to win this game. It's going to come down to the ability of Russell Wilson and the ability of Aaron Rodgers. If the Seahawks defense can somehow just slow down Aaron Rodgers a little bit and force them to run the football, we win this game. And for that reason, I'm going to pick the Seattle Seahawks to win and advance. Because I think they're going to be able to stop Aaron Rodgers just a little bit. Not even a lot. Just a couple drives, get him out of rhythm, and then the offense is going to go down and score. I want them to play catch-up. I mean, if you're Seattle, you want them playing catch-up because you want to be in the driver's seat in this game. You don't want to be playing from behind against an Aaron Rodgers-led football team because they're going to score every single time they touch the ball, and it's going to be up to the defense to win. It's going to be up to the defense to win the game. And yes, it does sound sort of biased that I pick Seattle to win this game, but I genuinely believe that Seattle has the team. This is the team this year since they last went to the Super Bowl. This is going to be the team that makes it to the Super Bowl and has the talent to make it to the Super Bowl. And I think everybody knows that you can't just sleep on Russell Wilson. You can't sleep on any quarterback anyway. But Russell Wilson is one of those guys who, if you start to doubt even a little bit, he's going to show you and prove you wrong 100% of the time. Mind you, he hasn't had the greatest second half to the year. I'm gonna say that myself. I'm a Seahawks fan. It's been ugly. So is Tyler Lockett. He really hasn't had the back half of the year that I was expecting. But I think they do find a way, and they have the chemistry, they have the team, they have the talent to throw on this Packers defense and even run the football. I mean, you can't even forget about Chris Carson, who has been a key part in this Seattle Seahawks scheme, in this kind of run-first team that Pete Carroll's been doing since day one at SC. He's been a run-first guy, and it's been a little bit different for him having a quarterback who can throw the ball. Not saying Matt Hasselbeck is the greatest passer in the league, but he wasn't that good. You don't have, like, Russell Wilson is the best quarterback Pete Carroll's had, even at the college level. I think Matt Leinart was a great quarterback at SC. Don't necessarily like SC as a Notre Dame fan, but I think he was a great quarterback at SC. I didn't really watch him play because I think he graduated the year I was born, so I didn't really get to see him play. But from what I've heard, he was probably one of the best quarterbacks there. When they went to the I think it was a national championship game against Texas. But they were a run-first team. Pete Carroll has not had a quarterback, I don't think, since Leinart that is as good as Russell Wilson. And I think it's going to be a great Super Bowl. Bills-Hawks. I think both teams. I think the Bills are the better team here. I think they have the more explosive offense than Seattle does. But I think Seattle has the capability of being an explosive offense. It's all going to come down to how they play defense. Once again, if Seattle can stop Josh Allen, sort of like how the Colts are going to try and do right now when they're playing right now against the Bills. If they can find a way to slow him down, stop him, take away Diggs, and make them run the football, if you can make Buffalo run the football, you're going to win the game. Because Buffalo has one of the worst rushing offenses in the league this year, and they're a run-first team. Up there with the Chiefs. Chiefs are a pass-first team. Bills are a pass-first team. Packers are a pass-first team. And the Seahawks are a run-first team. The Saints, they're balanced. They're balanced. They pick either run or pass. It doesn't really matter. I mean, here and there you're going to run. Here or there you're going to pass. Tampa Bay, they're a pass-first offense. They don't trust Ronald Jones as much as they trust Tom Brady and Mike Evans and those guys. Bills, they're a pass-first team. Chiefs, they're a pass-first team. Steelers, they're a pass-first team. Titans are the only other run-first team in this playoff bracket. It's the Titans and the Seahawks are the two run-first teams. And I think the run-first teams are going to find a way to win this game. But I don't see... as much as I like to say Seattle wins because Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl, it'd be great for me as a Seahawks fan. But the Bills are going to have to throw the ball. And if they can't throw the ball, they're not going to win. Seattle, they're going to have to find a way to score. I do think this Buffalo Bills defense is good. I don't think they're elite. I don't think they have the talent as the Steelers defense. I don't think they have the talent as the let's just say the Bucs defense. The Bucs have a good defense. I don't think they have the talent that they do. But I think they have the athletes. And with that being said, Seattle has the athletes too. It's going to be one of these things, again, where you're going to have to stop the pass. Because if you can't stop the pass, you're not going to win the game. They're going to throw for 500 yards on you. And you don't want that because you're not going to win the game. But if you can somehow control the clock and keep the Buffalo Bills offense off the field and get after Josh Allen. Get him out of the pocket and make him make very rushed throws. I think you have a very, 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 very good shot at this game. I think these two teams they're built for each other's strengths. The Seahawks are built to stop, I don't want to say built to stop the pass because they have one of the worst passing defenses, like I've already said. But they're built. They have Shaquille Griffin who can run with Stephon Diggs. They have Jamal Adams who can shadow over in the area of Stephon Diggs. They got Ugo Amadi is a slot corner who's going to be on Cole Beasley a lot. They got the guys who can stop this team. It's just whether or not they're going to be able to get after Josh Allen and make them run the football. As for the Bills are built defensively to also stop the pass. They're built to they're good. They're decent in the secondary. Micah Hyde's I think he should have been I don't know if he was a first team All-Pro at safety this year, but he is one of the best safeties in the league. They have one of the best corners in Tre'Davious White in the league. Who would be covering DK Metcalf, of course. They got a great linebacker in Matt Milano and I think it's Tremaine Edmonds, linebacker. And they got a good defensive line. Ed Oliver's played good. Jerry Hughes has played good. They got a good defense. It's going to be whoever can force a turnover. Whoever forces more turnovers in the game is going to win. And who do I think is going to force more turnovers? I think the Bills have the ability. Both teams have the ability. I've said ability like 15 times. I know this video is 30 minutes long, but this is probably couldn't have been more of an even Super Bowl here. Whoever forces more turnovers, and as much as I don't want to say it, I think the Hawks defense is going to be coming off a high after playing the Packers, beating the Packers. If you can beat the Packers, that's an emotional high for you. If you can beat the Saints, that's an emotional high for you. The defense is going to be the key to those two games. And if they don't play good, then they're not going to be there. They're not going to be in the Super Bowl if they don't play good. But it's the same thing with the Bills. If the Bills can't stop the run against Tennessee, they're not going to win the game. If the Bills can't stop the pass against the Steelers, they're not going to win the game. I mean, it's going to be, I think the Bills are more talented. I really do. I think the Bills have the talent there, and I think they're going to put up an unbelievable fight. But in my completely unbiased opinion, I don't know if Seattle has the offense to hang with. I'm completely second-guessing myself here. I don't think they have the offense. So with that being said, I think the Bills do end up beating the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. And I think their offense is going to be able to find a way to win the game. I got an explosive offense, like I've already said 15 times in this video. And I think they have the talent. I mean, both teams have the talent. I just don't know if Seattle's offense can keep with them. Seattle has the talent as well to keep with them. You know what? Screw it. I'm going with my gut. I mean, I know they beat them earlier in the year. I know the Bills beat them early in the year, but I'm changing it. I think the Hawks do end up winning. I think they find a way to win, find a way to stop Josh Allen, get after him, force turnovers, score, be a complete all-around team, be the best team that Pete Carroll's had since their last Super Bowl. And completely unbiased, of course, I'm making points here for both teams to win here, but I do think the Hawks, coming off such an emotional high about beating the Saints, coming off such an emotional high about beating the Packers, who we always have trouble with in the playoffs, I think Russell Wilson just goes off. I think the defense plays unbelievable, plays the best defense they've ever played, and I think they have the pieces. I do think they're going to win that game. So with that being said, I do think the Hawks are going to be Super Bowl champs. I do think it's going to be a close game. I do think when the spread comes out or whatever, whoever they play, I'm going to be doing a video on that as well. But with that being said, Hawks win the Super Bowl in my completely unbiased opinion. I truly believe they have the talent to win it this year. I think there are some really, really good teams out there, but I do think there are weaknesses to all those teams, and I do think the Hawks, even though they have weaknesses, bigger weaknesses themselves, I think they find a way to exploit their defenses or those weaknesses with Pete Carroll. I think they find a way. So, that being said, that is my prediction video. And I know I second-guess myself a lot. I know it's long. As always, it's 32 minutes. But I'll probably be doing another one of these. Actually, I won't, because these are my predictions here. But with that being said, that is going to be it for the video, guys. Thank you all for watching, as always. And I know that probably seemed like a biased video, but I guarantee you it wasn't. I try my best to be as unbiased as possible, and that's one of the times where it looks like it's going to be biased with I saying Seattle Seahawks are going to win the Super Bowl. But I do believe strongly that they have the team to do it. I think they find a way to win, and I think that's what Pete Carroll's trying to do. I think that's what he's been able to do. So yeah, that's gonna be it from you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video as always, and leave a like if you like it. If not, don't worry about it. Leave down in the comment down below if you have any ideas for upcoming videos coming into the off season, and go check out my boys JMP Sports Talks. They always give me a shout out, and I feel like and though I link them at the end of the video as always, but I'll give them a shout out here. They did a video like this, and I'm kind of responding to their video. With that being said, that's gonna be it from me, guys. Thank you all for watching as always, and hope you guys enjoy your NFL playoff weekend. So, yeah, peace, guys.